a big fan of every DAO, so I'm sure you can see me at most of the DAO event. And today, I'd love to share our story, the mass network, and especially the Web 3.0 journal that we have. Let me. Okay, is that good right now?
Yeah, I can see your screen. Yeah.
Okay, great. So today I'd like to talk a little bit more about the Web 3.0, especially about the decentralized social network, entering the decentralized new internet with the mass network. In the very beginning, I'd like to tell a little bit again about Web 3.0. I believe most of the listener audience here already been, you know, bombed by this buzzword since the congressional hearing, and we have those, great definition of Web 3.0. My definition is a little bit different, but it's a little bit short, very concise. That, in my opinion, Web 2 is feudalism, and Web 3 is the early and free capitalism we have. Still don't really have all of it, but still trying to have more in the offline world. And in cyberspace, unfortunately, we are mostly controlled by the feeders and Web 2.0, so-called walled garden platform, that the platform owner like Facebook and Zuckerberg is the king, and it's a kingdom. The Web 3.0 is trying to break that. There's many ways to break that, right? There's a different attempt from the decentralized finance, from the cultural revolution and the art revolution like NFT. And when we think about the decentralized social network, or social network in general, which is most of the people use every day in the Web 2.0 and even Web 1.0, it's going to be a very difficult problem to migrate. This is going to be it's going to be a different thing to conquer compared to the NFT and DeFi. And the problem we have witnessed is very, very interesting, right? We witnessed the booming of application like Telegram, which is trying to be all-in-one social connection platform. It's really great, created by the dual browser, and they attempt to decentralize as the Telegram open network, and they failed. Ends up the transaction cost or the migrating cost is just too high for even great application like Telegram. It's not never possible for the user to say, okay, let's just agree to move ourselves into Telegram, into a new application, into a new Twitter, new Facebook, new WhatsApp, no matter how wonderful it is. And then when you think about the hardcore service, the most interesting example will be the Tor network, which is also famous for the dark web, right? For the deep web, the .onion domain in these network. They're famous for the hardcore user and geek users, and it's hard to use, and it's despite by the mainstream. If your friend tell me like, "Hey, dude, don't add me on Facebook and Twitter, find me on the .onion domain," you're gonna think, "Oh, this guy is suspicious." It's a little bit better when you tell your friend, just connect me on Suji.eth. A little bit better, but honestly, it's still questioned by the mainstream. The mainstream can always question like, why do we need the different domain system, different name system, different all these things? And it seems like most of the use case are criminal activities, right? And then the question when I joined the industry as a founder, as an entrepreneur, is, okay, is that possible to enjoy the Web 3.0 world? It's a great open new world on top of the existing internet platforms, or more specifically, Web 2 mainstream monopolized platforms, such as Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Maybe the case will be, all right, can I send my friend money on Twitter? That, remember when we started this is around 2017, 2018. There's no blue sky, there's no attempt of Twitter. Can I instead of sending NFTs through a wallet, can I send NFTs through Instagram? Because most of my Instagram friends are artists and professional models. They post pictures and they actually just like NFTs. Here's are the meme picture we did, just like creating a mask over top of the giants, and mask logo is in between that. Imagine that there will be a huge mask built on top of the existing Web 2 and connect the Web 2 to the Web 3. So how that work is we make the big companies our infrastructures. And more specifically, I'd love to show you the details later on. More specifically, we can do all these amazing things, just for example, right on top of Twitter. For example, I can send you an encrypted message. This is for the Brave browser guys. Hey, hi Brave guys, love your cool browser. This is all encrypted, and when you send over Twitter cannot see it. And then we partner with the Arweave and Filecoin, which become our investor in recent round, become a strategic investor with Swapsum token. When you send over message on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, you can just say, okay, not only message, I also want to send some files, right, through the Arweave and Filecoin. So we did integration, and they create some application on top of that. Again, this is beyond Twitter, beyond Instagram, beyond everything the platform can control. Then last year, we started to have 2020, no, actually 2 years ago, right? It's almost 2 years ago. 2020, February, we started to have more interesting integration with the help of the Ethereum Foundation OGs and the founder, Vitalik, and many other DeFi early pioneer. So we create this lucky job or air job functionality. Again, there's nothing centralized. There's no server. There's no API used. There's no communication to the Twitter team or the Facebook team. Completely decentralized and serverless. And you can use Ethereum or any mainstream EVM, compatible chain to say, okay, I'll send some money on Twitter. And if you're a friend of me or a friend of Vitalik, you can claim the money on the on Twitter. And so VB sent over some tweets, some money on Twitter. And then we have this cool integration. Again, this is on the BSC and on the Polygon. And we're coming to all these major EVM compatible chains. Again, this is decentralized completely, even though you feel like you're on Twitter. And yes, you're on Twitter. Just by install a small extension on your browser, you own the Web3 capability and use the Web2 infrastructure. Here comes NFT. So you can also buy and sell NFTs and drop NFTs on Twitter when also coming to Instagram. So you can put NFTs in a mask box that you can just choose your best. You can just say pay 0.1 ETH and let the randomization algorithm choose the best NFT for you. You can play a game with a friend. It's a good launch mechanism for the NFT projects. And recently, our Mathbox launched a great NFT project. Maybe it's still new for many Western users. It's called Fantabel. It's the J Cho's cool NFT. Check out on OpenSea. We use the Mathbox to launch that, and now it become I think number 3 project of OpenSea already. And then then we have the NFT, or when you send your friends some token, definitely want to show that hey, I'm different. I'm someone from the Web3, right? So we have the verifiable NFT avatar. Actually, we are also founding member, early community founding member. There's no founder, but we're founding member, early member of Blue Sky. Blue Sky is initiated by Twitter and endorsed by Jack Dorsey. Back in the days, he was still at Twitter as CEO, late 2019 November. And later on, Jen used to work at Zcash, become the head of Blue Sky. Blue Sky is, promoting all the decentralized technology, not only Bitcoin, Ethereum, but in general, try to say, hey, can we build the social protocol? It's growing slowly. I have to admit that it's origin from Twitter, though there's some big company legacy, but it's very interesting. And You may heard of the Twitter integration, but overall, we delivered that first, and we have a lot of conversation with Blue Sky and many other people in the Blue Sky and in the Twitter team. Now, this is a case of our Cyberpunk verified by the mask extension on Twitter. And then there's the Web3 tab, because Web3 is not only about DeFi, NFT, it's also about DAO, right? And I think the audience here definitely know the constitutional DAO story. They raised the $40 million to secure the constitution. Even though they failed, it's still a legendary story, right? So we collaborate with many other third-party servers, and there's many great community developer. And finally, we integrate this Juicebox as a DAO tooling tool platform. There's many other DAO platforms, and we integrate that right on top of Twitter. So here's the Web3 tab. You can check out your NFTs and your DAOs. For example, here's the Constitution DAO. You can check out how many governance tokens they issued, the voting ongoing right on top of Twitter. So it makes Twitter. It feels like when you first use Twitter, you don't have hashtag. People invent the hashtag for Twitter years after their launch. Now we invent the Web3 functionality for Twitter and for Facebook, for Instagram, for Reddit, for anything you can imagine, and you can program on top. Here's the integration with the Artist Bio. The Artist 3 is another project we are investing and backing a lot. This is very interesting. I believe if you use that on the real browser, I'm happy to show off my Fanta Bell, my cool NFT. All right, let's go. So this is with all the buzzword. What is the masking bell, right? So let's go to this place and check out the Web3 tab. So I got some VPN issue, but you're gonna see these bears and more interestingly, your donations to the Gitcoin. We have partnership with Gitcoin, and your footprint, which is your metaverse party pull-ups on Twitter. And it can, I haven't involved in any DAO under this ENS, but you can check my ENS and you can check the DAO involvement I have. Yeah. And I can tweet an encrypted post for any friend. Hey, DAO friend. And I may even encrypt some money into so whoever see that, and that's the mass network. And beyond that, we have more ongoing. So here today we have a hackathon, right? And it's all about developers and creators and builders. I think the key of success of the mass network, by the way, we already launched our token. You can find it anywhere in any major exchange. I think the key of success, not only for mass, but also for all the prayer grade DeFi and NFT innovation, and even Ethereum itself, and other layer ones, is the decentralization community and building. So the cool part is you can build something on top of Mask. We have a standard SDK. So through this SDK, you can build something on top of Mask. Today, you can just write something like, I want to do pay to unlock. I want to do a fan clap for the Twitter user. I want to do a social token. I want to do an NFT social clap for the Instagram, fans. You can do all the amazing things. And we're providing the general layer of connection between the Web2 and the Web3. So when you want to do something on the Instagram, you don't need to go to an Instagram. You go to Mask, and we're all open, completely open source, completely serverless. And when you go to when you do something on top of Twitter, well, you can definitely go to Blue Sky, but likely you cannot get any API. But you can use Mask Network. You do something on top. You can build some DAO over the Twitter page. So that's the story of Mask Network. Today we have a judge from our ecosystem and tech team gonna guide you on the details. And we are one of the long-term partners of Gitcoin. There's around 20-ish or 30-ish open grant and bounty on Gitcoin. Check out Mass.io and check out our GitHub, check out Telegram. Let's keep in touch. And I believe that in the next few years, any developer can create a decentralized application right on top of the Web2 platform connections connected through Mask website today. And thank you for listening.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Suji. Thanks for telling us a bit about Mars and your future plans. Like, it's very interesting to know how like different platforms and protocols are building social for Web3, and Mars is going about it in a very interesting way, like by integrating extensively with Twitter, as well as other social media platforms like Instagram. So yeah, thanks for sharing that with us. At Moledao, we have like further partnerships planned with Mars. So we plan to offer bounties that are offered by Mars as well. So yeah, stay tuned for like further news regarding that.